Hey guys, I'm Amy Neese on behalf of Epting Events out of Athens, Georgia. Join me as I show you the proper way to set a table for a served dinner Epting event style.
Now that you've seen the end product, let's rewind back to the start. You'll begin the setup with a naked table, which needs clothes or linens. When dressing a table, you always want to find the center seam of the cloth and line it up with the main entrance, like so. We do this because everything we set on the table follows the lead of the center seam. Doing so will help us create a cohesive look both on the table and for the room as a whole. All the seams in the room should be pointed in the same direction. It's all about appearance and presentation. Make sure all the linens in your section hang evenly on all sides before placing anything on your table. Florists will place the arrangements on the table. Don't move the arrangements once they are set in place by the florist because they are fragile. They contain water and they're sometimes a bit dirty on the bottom, which can mess up our clean, beautiful linens. Sugar caddies and salt and pepper shakers should be placed off-center in the middle of the table, across from one another. Votives, or candles, should then be dropped in clusters of 5 with the wicks up and accessible. This makes it easier when lighting the votives because you can light them all at one time, then spread them around the table.
Now that all the items that are going to be shared by the guests have been placed on the table, we need to set individual place settings for each guest.
You will set the table in teams of 2. One person with the dinner fork and knife, the other with the salad fork and spoon. The person with the knife and dinner fork is the leader of the setting, walking around the table in front of their partner like so. Starting at the seam facing the entrance, dinner fork in left hand, knife in the right hand with the blade facing the fork. The first person will set the fork and knife a little over the foot apart. Following behind, the person with the salad fork in the left hand and spoon in the right will set their silverware directly outside the person in front of them. The team will work around the table until all place settings are set. The reason that you're doing this 2 pieces at a time is for time's sake and to make sure you can space things more accurately around the table. Also for time's sake, you should have as many pieces of silverware in your hand as it takes to set the whole table. For instance, if there are 8 guests at a table, you should have 8 pieces of silverware in each hand so you don't have to keep returning to the bag to get more. Lastly, one person from the team will go back around the table a second time and set the dessert spoon in its place, which will be at the top of the place setting with the handle facing right so it can easily be slid down to the right of the plate. The other person from the team will go behind and lay out a folded linen napkin directly in the middle of the place setting, hanging 1/3 off the table like so. After all the napkins are set, chargers will be placed atop the napkins in between all the silverware. Make sure the charger is flush with the edge of the table and is not overlapping any of the silverware. Go back around the table yet again as a team and make sure all the silverware is neatly placed, angled slightly towards the guest's point of view. Now that everything we need to eat our meal has been placed on the table, we need to set out our glassware. First, set a white wine glass, the taller, slender one, directly above the knife, leaving enough room for a water goblet in between. Then, down and to the right, place a red wine glass, the shorter, rounder one. Coffee cups and saucers should be set above the forks to the left of the dessert spoon, with their handles pointing towards 5 o'clock. About a half an hour before the guests arrive, you will set out a pre-filled water goblet directly above the knife. Each team member will be assigned a certain preset item to be placed on the table prior to the guest's arrival. The creamer is set next to the sugar. The dessert plate goes above the spoon at the top of the place setting. And then finally, a salad plate will be placed on each charger. While you're setting out your water goblets, someone else needs to be lighting the votive clusters on your table and spreading them around the centerpiece. Lastly, go around your table and make sure there's a chair directly in front of each place setting and that the seat of the chair is just kissing the linen, not by any means tucked under the table. Congratulations, you've set a beautiful table. Now for the guests.